Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Wednesday night in Azeroth, and we have a show lined up for you tonight. It's I can't promise that it's going to be a great show, but it will be a show. I'm gonna put in all the effort, and we'll see what we can get out of it. But yeah, we're doing it live.
We'll do it live.
So the big news for the week, of course, is patch 11.2.7, the warning. The warning. Yeah. I mean, look, some of the patches that Blizzard does have really cool and interesting names. Guardians of the Dream was one of my favorite recent ones that they did. The warning is kind of, I don't know. I think maybe they're a little bit lost in the sauce, but it's okay. We'll give it to them. They're doing the whole World Soul Saga. I get it. It's fine. Anyway, so yeah, patch 11.2.7 is now live on servers, and we're going to talk about it. And we've got a little bit of other stuff that we're going to go over, but that's going to be the main focus of the show. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as always, before I get started on the news, I will tell you a little bit about what I did last week in World of Warcraft, because like I said before, last week, I'm like all in on Classic right now. So my remix characters, so my warrior's like 359 verse or something like that, which is great, but it's also, I don't know. I'm not really getting anything out of it at this point. I feel like Remix has run its course. I'm really excited for next week when we get the final phase of Remix, whatever that may be. And it gives us, I'm assuming it's going to be like housing stuff and maybe like an increase in our bronze acquisition rate or something like that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm not like gung-ho on Remix right now, because to me it's run its course. I'm done. So I'll probably go back and get a couple more transmogs and whatnot. I have a billion. I wish I had a billion bronze. I'd buy everything. I'll have 1 million bronze. So yeah, it's just a matter of whatever I want to spend it on. So and then in Classic, so like I said last week, I'm preparing for Anniversary. I'm getting my characters prepped. One of the things that, and this is something that I've done several times throughout my history in World of Warcraft, but when you go to Outland for the first time, you don't want to leave, right? And not that, oh my gosh, Outland is so cool, I'd never want to leave. It's more like, I'm here, it's kind of a hassle to get back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar or whatever. So I'd rather just kind of have this be my base and set my Hearthstone to Shattrath, and you're all good. The problem that I've run into multiple times, and this is happened on so many characters that it scarred me for life. You get to Outland and you're like, all right, I'm running around, I'm going to go kill mobs. Then you look and you're like, shoot, I never leveled up my mining. So all that fell iron ore just sits there laughing at you. So yeah, I decided I would rather take the time and slow up my leveling and work on my mining. I have 2 characters that I have mining on that I really want to play, which is my warrior, Denethar, and my paladin, who is Edmont. And so I decided I was just going to run around and mine. And I'll tell you right now, mining in Classic is harder than I remember. And not because, oh my gosh, it's so much work, but you go into these high level zones where you're like, okay, I need mithril. I'm going to go through, I'm doing Tanaris. That's a great place to mine mithril. And it's either iron or small thorium veins. That's all I can find. And I'm like, wait a minute. Where's all the mithril? If I was at the level where I could only do iron and I couldn't do mithril, I guarantee you there'd be mithril everywhere. Anyway, so I did that. I think my mining is like 225 or something like that. So I'm almost at the point where I can do the small thorium veins, but it's slow. The other thing that I did is I did a couple of Zul'Farrak runs. Um, okay, so first of all, Zul'Farrak is such a great dungeon. It's probably, I mean, it's certainly top 5 in my book for WoW vanilla dungeons. It's so good. It's so well. The layout is so good. The pacing is good. You know, you have some side bosses, but even that, it's not like you're going way out of your way. One guy you got to go through like a little cave in the back. It's not a big deal. So anyway, so I went into the group. We did that, and I had all the quests. I got all the quests, every quest that you could possibly ever want. The one for the Sunken Temple, the one for saving Sharpbake, all of them. So I got all the quests. I went into Zul'Farrak. I completed all the quests, except for the Troll Tempers, which that one's a tough one to complete. But nobody had the mallet. And I was like, dang it. I really want my carrot on a stick. So I went to the hinterlands, but I had completed the saving Sharpbake quest, which I think I talked about this last week, where it's like I wanted to do them both at the same time. So I got that done. I went back to the hinterlands, got I got the mallet, or I had the mallet already, went up to Jinta Lore, and there's nobody there. So I brought my hunter over, and he went through and he killed everybody in Jinta Lore. I think my warrior died, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. Because those mobs start to hurt. Even for the hunter, who's, he's level 60, and he's got Blackwing Layer gear and a little bit of AQ gear, but it's hard. So yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge, but I got it done. I got the ancient egg. I saved Sharpbeak, and I got my mallet created. So got that done, which felt really good. And that's one of the things that I really like about Classic, is that you get that sense of accomplishment from doing a freaking quest. I'm just questing, and it feels good. I even had my hunter run me through it, and I still felt like I accomplished something. I'm like, that was fun. I feel good about this. And a side note, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more, but for Classic Plus, please, Blizzard, give us a Jinta Olor dungeon. That would be a fantastic dungeon. Just put in some bosses, one at each level, do it Game of Death style. I mean, that would be amazing. 100% Jinta Olor dungeon in Classic Plus. We got to do it. Anyway, so then I went back into Zul'Farrak, finished up my quests. Actually, I went in there with a warrior he was like, no, I'll tank. I was like, that's fine. You tank, I'll DPS. Well, I hadn't DPS'd in so long. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just spamming Mortal Strike. This isn't really doing much. So anyway, we cleared it, and then nobody had the mallet, and I was like, oh, I have the mallet. so we killed Gusria, and I got my carrot on a stick, and so that was good. That was fun. So now I'm building up for Moradon. I don't know how you say it. That's one of those that I've never figured out the correct pronunciation for. Anyway, Moradon, and then also I'm getting quests for Sunken Temple. So 49 and 49 and a half, I'd say, is about where I am. And then the other thing, obviously last week, housing launched, and I have early access on one of my accounts for housing because I already bought the Midnight expansion on that account. On the second account, I didn't do it yet, so I'm waiting on that one. But I was going to go log into housing, and I just, for some reason, it struck me. I was like, I really don't feel like doing this right now. I thought I would be excited. All day I was talking about it. Because the servers were down until like 5:30 Eastern time. I was talking to my wife, talking to my daughter. Oh yeah, housing is gonna launch, blah blah blah. And then my daughter's like, oh, I didn't pre-order yet, but I'm gonna do it. And my wife, oh yeah, I can't wait. When the time came to actually do it, I was like, I don't really feel like it. So I don't know. I haven't tried out housing yet. I know that's weird, but that's where we are. I mean, we all play the game differently, right? And I will get in there and I will build a house, but I don't know. Yeah, I think for me, the big thing is I'm probably going to level up some alts on a couple of different servers. I have 2 servers that I've been messing around on. I've got Cenarian Circle that I've had for a while, and then I've been trying to get some characters on Proudmoore. So, Yeah, I'll probably do that over the next couple of weeks here with Remix and or Turbulent Timeways. I guess we'll see, because Turbulent Timeways is also a really good way to level your character. But I feel like Remix is faster. So anyway, that's what I did last week. Not a whole lot, but what I did was good, and it felt good, and I felt fulfilled and satisfied from running Zul'Farrak twice. So there you go. And I got my shoulders. So the warrior plate shoulders from Zul'Farrak. Technically, they're not warrior shoulders because you can use them if you're a paladin. But I mean, come on, paladin, what are you doing? Heal me. Sorry, no, it's rude. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to the forum post of the week. So this one actually, this is a Willy video that came out. I think it was actually last week. Or 2 weeks ago, but I saw that video, I watched it, and I was like, okay, that's good. And then Wowhead did an article about it where they expanded on gave their own thoughts about the video. And basically the video was about the horizontal progression with Classic Plus and why it's a problem. And this is a much bigger topic than I want to cover in a forum post of the week. So more so than anything, I just want to bring it up and kind of start the conversation going of horizontal progression in Classic Plus and how it works. And I don't want to retread all the things Willy did in his video, because he does a good job. I know some people don't like Willy, but I think he's great. What he said was, if you think about vertical progression is what we have currently in modern WoW, right? So you do Nerebar Palace, right? And then season 2 comes out, and then it's the Liberation of Undermine, and all the item levels go up. And so you vertically progress into the next tier or the next season or whatever of gear. And then same thing with Manaforge Omega, and you move into the next season of gear. So horizontal progression is, if you think about it in terms of like going from Molten Core to Blackwing Lair, yeah, the gear is better. So there is a vertical progression, but there's still things in Molten Core that are giving you best in slot items, Thunder Furies, some of the rings and things off of Ragnaros, the a trinket off of, who was it, Gar, or Geddon. So there are things that horizontally allow you to still go and run that old content and get value out of it. Whereas now, if I were to go run Liberation of Undermined or Nerevar Palace today, I get nothing from it. Achievements. That's what you're doing. So it's basically like farming old raids, except it's still hard. I'm getting as much from running Liberation of Undermine as I would from running Sepulchre of the First Ones. And that's vertical progression in its most extreme form, where you don't even have the option of something useful because everything is automatically scaled to the next level. And, part of it is that forced scaling that Blizzard has created with the eye-level system and the upgrade system and all these things. Anyway, but the point is, the video talks about how people want a home for their characters in Classic, and they don't want to just redo all of the expansions, right? Because you have a home for your characters in the War Within, and we're going into Midnight, where we're getting a literal home, but we're progressing through expansions one after the other. 18 or 20 months from now, we're going to move on to the next expansion. So in Classic, if we do a Classic Plus, part of it is that how do your characters have a home? Because we did Season of Discovery, and people loved that. People had fun with it, but those characters don't have a home now. Right? I mean, they do have a home. They're there on the Season of Discovery servers, but there's nobody there. The servers are dead. And so how do you create a long-lasting, and we're talking more than 2 years, maybe a 5 or 10-year Classic Plus environment where you can just go and live with your characters and do things, and there's a new raid coming out, there's a new dungeon coming out, blah blah blah. How can we do that? And horizontal progression is one of the things that a lot of people in the community have latched onto as, here's a way we can do it, but nobody knows how to make it work, because it doesn't work. Because let's take the example of what we know from Classic. So you go Molten Core, Okay, Molten Core, and it gives you item level 66 on average items. So the tier pieces are item level 66. Some pieces are more, some pieces are less, whatever. 66 is the item level for the tier pieces in Molten Core for tier 1. Tier 2, let's move on to Blackwing Lair. Tier 2 pieces are item level 76. So now we've moved up. That's vertical progression. And then Naxxramas, again, we're moving up again. 86 for the tier pieces in Naxxramas. So, and I skipped AQ because I hate that place. But a horizontal progression is something where if you're doing Nax, right, currently, what incentive do you have to run Molten Core? None, or almost none. In horizontal progression, the idea is your character moves horizontally across multiple things, and you get milestones, and you get ways to improve your character, but without increasing your item level and your gear. Blizzard created the vertical progression in WoW because it's the easiest way to do it. So if you want to have horizontal progression, you have to have some way of improving your character without negating all of the previous tiers of content. So you could still go run Molten Core, and it's valuable. But the problem comes in where if you make all of the content valuable, then you'll have people who feel like they have to run all the content every week. Oh, I've got to go do all my raids this week. Why? Because I could get gear from all of them. You get where I'm coming from, right? And so in an effort to save players from themselves and to make sure players are checking out the cool new hotness, right? Then you have to have vertical progression in there. So, because if you make a new dungeon really difficult, people aren't going to do it if it doesn't give you anything better, right? If you're like, well, I could just go run BRD and get the same gear, but it's easy. That's what people are going to do. The path of least resistance. So how do you make a horizontal progression in a game that's designed from the ground up to be vertically progressive? So that's the point of the video, and that's what Wowhead was talking about. And they gave some suggestions on things, and I think this is going to be a topic that we're going to tackle at one point as a main topic of the week, where we're going to go through all the different options, and I'll give my suggestions for how I think we could do it, or how Blizzard could do it. Obviously, Blizzard has their own plans for Classic Plus. It's in flux right now, but whatever we do end up with, I'm sure will be something that is well received and loved by all players. Yeah, sure. All right, let's move on to the news.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so let's start off with the new Twitch drop, which is available for watching or streaming. No, you're watching 4 hours of Twitch streams of World of Warcraft. You're going to get the Topsy-Turvy Joker's Mask. It is a Dark Moon Fair bird-looking like a party mask. You know, think like the Victorian or English, party masks that they used to put on or whatever. I don't know. Just go look at the picture of it. It looks ridiculous. I've said this before and I'll say it again. There are a lot of things in this game that are just not for me. And this is one of them. That's just not for me. So, and that's okay. I don't need everything to be for me. But I probably won't do the Twitch drop for this one. But the way it works, if you haven't done it before, if you watch 4 hours of World of Warcraft streams on Twitch, first off, you have to link your Battle.net account. So link your Battle.net account to your Twitch account. Then you watch your 4 hours of Twitch streams. You could have it up on the background and just, be playing WoW and have it on your second monitor or have it on your laptop or whatever. You could have it on your phone even. And then after 4 hours, you'll get the item, and that's that. So yeah, if you want the Topsy-Turvy Joker's Mask, go watch 4 hours of World of Warcraft on Twitch, which I feel like that's a lot of effort for a mask like this. But you know what? Some people might want it. So, and I'm not here to judge you. If you want the Topsy-Turvy Joker's Mask, go for it. It's just not for me. So, and that's okay. Like I said, not everything has to be for me. Okay. The other thing is Blizzard put some new gear on the store. I saw this was for Cyber Monday. I saw this and everything sold out, which I thought was fantastic because I was like, you know what? Go World of Warcraft fans. They had like a Lich King Sherpa jacket and Illidan and Xal'atath key overlays, like it goes on top of your keyboard, stuff like that. You know, it's cool when you get these sorts of deals on there, but yeah, I guess everything is sold out except for, I don't think that the posters are sold out. So there's 2 display posters for Lady Leadrin and Lorthamar Theron. So if you are interested in that, go check that out. I'll put the link to those in the show notes. But yeah, like I said, that's really not for me. So, all right, let's move on to modern World of Warcraft. So Legion Remix. The only thing that I wanted to point out here, and there's a bunch of stuff obviously that came in with 11.2.7, but we'll go through all of the patch features that were added with the new patch yesterday. But this one I will just call out here. So you can now scrap your motes of broken time into infinite power. So yeah, you can do 50 per day in stacks of 25. People have been asking what to do with my motes. And I mean, I get it. Once you have all your gear, you're pretty much done. But then the question begs, if I have 999 verse, what do I get out of it? And I guess you're getting a little bit more strength, but, yeah, that's it. At a certain point, it's like, look, man, I don't know what to tell you. You've got everything. You won. Just junk it, I guess. They should give us an option to sell that for like, I don't even know what. It just doesn't, there's nothing sounds good. Anyway, so if you've been holding on to your motes because you're already item level 740 and you have all the trinkets and rings and everything that you want, and you don't know what to do with your motes, you can scrap them for 50 per day in stacks of 25. All right. In the War Within, so the only thing I wanted to call it here, because again, all of this content is in the show notes, but these are the things that I wanted to separate and call out individually. So the leveling experience has been reduced for level 70 to 80. So normally this sort of thing happens in the pre-patch, but I guess Blizzard is treating 10.2.7 as a pseudo pre-patch. I mean, we're getting housing, we're getting the XP nerf. I don't know, it's a little weird, but it's more like a pre-patch than it is a prologue patch for the War Within. But anyway, so the amount of XP that you need to get from level 70 to level 80 has been reduced by about 80% per level. So yeah, just to give you an idea, from level 70 to 71, previously it was 225,000 XP. Now it will be 58,000. Level 79 to 80, which is the highest one, that one went from 445,000 to 74,700, which is crazy because you're just going to fly through those last few levels. So yeah, there you go. That now is the time to level up your alts, people. If you've got alts, even if it's alts that are just sitting there doing nothing, sitting in Dornogal 72, 73, whatever, log on to them. Go get some XP. It'll go fast. Go to the not the Dark Moon Fair. Go to the anniversary. Answer the trivia question. It goes quick. And especially now with turbulent timeways, it's a really fast way to level. So yeah, if you have characters that you've been holding on to because you're like, I don't really feel like leveling them, it's going to take too long, I don't feel like dealing with it, go do it now. Now is the time to do it. Or if you want let's say you're sitting there and you're going, man, I have all these lock boxes. I wish I had a level 80 rogue that I could just open them all. Go to Remix because this affects Remix characters too. So if you are if you create a new Remix character and you're like, hey, I'm level 62, whatever, but I heard when you get to 70, it gets harder. It does. The scaling is a little weird, but the XP is like way easier now. You're going to fly through that. So yeah, that's, it'll be very interesting. So anyway, that's in the game now. So if you want to go check that out, I would definitely, some people don't like leveling alts, and that's fine. But for me, I'm a certified altaholic, so I will, I'll probably level up a couple more alts. So there you go. All right. We have some add-on news. So there was a whole thing where I guess there's add-ons where they're figuring out how to change the color of a nameplate based on the character or based on the NPC type. Because previously, like plater and threat plates, the way that those worked is they actually used a named NPC to change the color of the plate so that you knew which one to kick or which one to do whatever. Well, you can't do that anymore by name, but Blizzard is putting in identifiers so that you can use those to build your add-ons. So that way they can control what characters are going to get what information. So you can recolor, at least currently, you can recolor the plates, the nameplates based on certain mob types, like a level, a lieutenant or a rare or whatever it is. I didn't want to get too into this because this could still change, but this is a really interesting one coming into midnight because this is exactly the type of thing that Blizzard wants add-on developers to do to give to players. It's not about using an add-on to figure that out. It's about using an add-on to display it in a way that's pleasant to players or customizable by players. Blizzard will be the one telling you what it is that you're going to be displaying, but you can change the manner in which that appears on your screen. So we'll see. Obviously, this could change at any moment, but we will have to do a add-on review towards the end of the beta process where we talk about what add-ons are going to be useful in midnight and what add-ons are pretty much dead. And we'll see how that goes. So speaking of add-ons, the other thing that I wanted to bring up for add-on is that LVUI has pledged to support the midnight clients. So originally LVUI had said, you know what, we're done. We're not going to be doing this anymore. We're canceling support for midnight. And a lot of people were really upset because a lot of people use and rely on LVUI. So here's what they said. This was posted on the Discord server. We're planning on supporting the upcoming TBC anniversary servers and the pre-patch starting in January. Okay, fine. And they're adding support for the Chinese Titanforge servers, whatever. Midnight, we intend to work on patch 12.0 support. The basics such as anchor skins, chat, bags, and action bars are already patched for the beta. A final decision how we plan to handle unit frames and nameplates is yet to be made. More info closer to pre-patch release. This is still fairly early in development on beta, but LVUI will continue to exist in midnight and beyond. We also want to remind you that our old premium support service no longer plays, blah, blah, blah. Support us on Patreon and go on our Discord server. So basically what they're saying is they're going to try and figure it out. So they got enough people who said, hey, we're going to give you money on Patreon or whatever. And so they were like, well, you know what? Maybe we will do this. So yeah, expect LVUI to have some form of availability in midnight. I don't know currently how it's going to look, but we do know that they're planning to have it available and to put it in there. So this is really good news because a lot of people were really bummed that add-on developers seem to be dropping like flies, but now it's more looking like it's really just weak auras that's not going to be in midnight. And I don't blame the weak auras team because it feels like a lot of the changes to add-ons that Blizzard has put in are really designed to break weak auras more than anything else. So it's kind of hard to ignore the direct digs that Blizzard is giving to weak auras at this point. So yeah, but it looks like everything else is going to work. At least every other add-on developer is going to try of the major add-ons. So we'll see how it goes. So like I said, I'll probably going to do a add-on episode sometime in maybe after Christmas. We'll do something in January, and yeah, we'll talk about what's working and what's not. All right, that's it for the news. A light news week because everything was really focused on patch 11.2.7. We'll get into that in a little bit, but first let's talk about what's going on this week in World of Warcraft. Okay, the bonus event for this week is the World Quest bonus event. You're going to get the Sign of the Emissary buff, which increases reputation from World Quests by 50%. You're going to pick up the quest The World Awaits from Archivist for Thrune and Dornogal to complete 10 world quests in Khazar, and you'll be rewarded with 2,500 reputation with the faction of your choice. So there you go. That's the generic World Quest bonus event. But this is the Turbulent Timeways. We have 10 weeks of Turbulent Timeways, and this is a new one. We have Shadowlands Time Walking for the first week. This one will be interesting. So we have the Sign of Azeroth buff, which increases Shadowlands reputation gains from combat and quest by 50%. That's the same name as the one from Battle for Azeroth gives. So come on, Blizz, why are you so lazy? You can pick up the quest A Shadow Path Through Time from Argus Thrune and Dornogal to defeat 5 time walking dungeons, and you will be rewarded with a hero track raid item. The 6 dungeons for time walking are Necrotic Wake, Spires of Ascension, Plaguefall, The Other Side, Halls of Atonement, and Sanguine Depths. Now, you got to go check out the new vendor in Oribos for the Shadowlands time walking. But yeah, I mean, it's, it is what it is. I'm personally not super excited about these dungeons. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And, some people didn't play Shadowlands, so they'll be like, oh, well, let me try this stuff out. Maybe it's pretty good. I mean, the dungeons were good, aside from Plaguefall and Necrotic Wake and Spires of Ascension and Halls of Atonement. The Other Side had its moments. Sanguine Depths was okay. Like, maybe I don't like this one. It's rough because some of the wounds from Shadowlands are still a little fresh, but it's okay. Go in there, check it out. And I'll figure out what it is next week. But so you get if you do 4 or 5 weeks of time walking, you get the buff. And when you get the buff, I think you have to do 4 dungeons and then you get a buff. Once you've done those 4 dungeons and you get the buff, then you have to get that buff again 4 more times. So you have 5 weeks total of buff that you have to get. And then you get a voucher that you can use to purchase a mount. And I believe the mounts are the 4 Shadowlands Covenant mounts, but like a goldified version of it or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I haven't been on to figure it out. So I'll talk about it next week, because it just go do your Shadowlands time walking if you're concerned about it, and then you'll get it. But you only have to do it for 5 weeks. So you could start in 5-6 weeks from now, and that would be fine. So, but anyway, yeah, check out Shadowlands time walking if you are interested in that sort of thing. I'm probably gonna do it just to say I did it. And I'll make sure you go check out the vendor, because there's some really cool transmogs and mounts from the vendor in Oribos. All right, the PvP brawl for the week is Classic Ashran. Classic Ashran is an open-ended tug-of-war battleground with special events around the zone, including quests and events. This one blows ass. I did Classic Ashran when it was just called Ashran, and it sucked. I've done Ashran as a PvP battleground since then, and it sucks. This one is the worst version of the two, and it sucks. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to go do it, go do it. I don't like it, but I can't tell you what to do because I'm not your dad. So, when you zone in, if you do decide to zone in, if you do, you'll get the quest Something Different to win a PvP brawl and be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. So there you go. That's the PvP brawl for the week. So Ashran, if you haven't done it, it's like they wanted to create a Alterac Valley vibe. Like original Alterac Valley, the one that took, it was like 3 days of one Alterac Valley going back and forth, back in vanilla. The one that nobody wants to do because it's a ridiculous waste of time. But it wasn't back in vanilla because we didn't know any better. We were like, oh, this is so cool. This is the best game ever. And so Ashran was their way to try and recapture that, but in a open zone, right? Think like, Winterfall. What's the name of the zone in Wrath of the Lich King? Anyway, doesn't matter. It sucks. But if you're really curious and you're like, Denethar, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to go do it. Go do it. And then tell me how it went. So I'd like to hear that feedback. All right. The holiday events that are going on right now. So there's the WoW 21st anniversary is still going on. That will end on December 7th. So you're almost out of time to do it. So make sure you get over there, get your new transmog set, which is kind of boring, but it's there. And if you're being a completionist, you can go get it. And then you can answer the trivia question on your alts if you're looking for some quick and easy XP, especially if they're level 70, because that'll just like whoosh. And then, yeah, there you go. So that'll end on Sunday, December 7th, probably at 10 a.m. server time. I don't know. And then the final thing is the Darkmoon Fair, which will start on December 7th. Darkmoon Fair is open for business. Meet Silas Darkmoon and his troupe, play games that test the mind and nerve, and behold the exotic sights from the four corners of Azeroth and beyond. So, yeah, they'll start on Sunday, and it will end on Saturday, the 13th. Darkmoon Fair is always a good time. You know I love the Darkmoon Fair. You can go ride the merry-go-round or the roller coaster. You can get shot out of the cannon. You can fly through the rings. You can go check out the concert. There's so many things to do at the Darkmoon Fair. But the most important things are riding the merry-go-round or the roller coaster will give you a XP and reputation buff. So if you're trying to get your last few reputations, that's a really good way to do it. And then the other thing is you can get profession quests. So you can get a quest, whatever your professions are: mining, skinning, leatherworking, alchemy, enchanting, whatever. You get a quest. If you complete the quest, you get 2 skill points. So if you're not maxed on your skill, you'll get 2 skill points from that. And you'll also get 3 knowledge points. And the knowledge points are really helpful because if you've been keeping up on your knowledge points, you're done. I'm sure you're done at this point. But if you're not keeping up on your knowledge points, you need all the catch up you can get. And the Darkmoon Fair is a really good source for that. So go check out the Darkmoon Fair this week, starting on Sunday, the 7th of December. And that's everything that's going on this week. There was I think there was a Wanderers Festival. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. These micro holidays are so weird for me because I wasn't really paying attention when they released most of them back in Legion. So this is the Wanderers Festival. It's the Pandaren one. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you're supposed to do. It's in there somewhere. So I think it's on Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, it's there. So you can go do that too. I'm doing a great. I'm such a professional. All right, that's it for this week in World of Warcraft. Let's move on to our main topic of the week.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
All right, it's here. Patch 11.2.7, The Warning. The final content patch of The War Within, although it feels more like the first content patch of Midnight, honestly, if I'm just saying. There's a lot in this patch, and we're going to go over everything. We're going to talk about all of the features that are being added in this patch, and we'll have that conversation. This is a weird one because it feels like it's... The story of the patch obviously is setting up Midnight, so I get that. But because we're getting content that's already set up for Midnight, this is more of things that would normally come in the pre-patch. I guess Blizzard is just trying to blur those lines between expansion and the seasons and just kind of make it, hey, this is just, wow, it's just content all the time. So I guess this is the brave new world of World of Warcraft. So anyway, let's go through. Here's what's coming in, or here's what is here now with patch 11.2.7. First off, there's a new story campaign that you can do with Arator. Though the ghosts of Crush have been put to rest, a new danger looms. Barisa Windrunner is stricken by visions of a new threat, a dire prophecy of Quel'Thas's fall. You will continue the War Within campaign beginning with the Visions of a Shadowed Sun quest found in your adventure guide to learn more about what portents await. This is basically going with Arator, and he's helping his aunt Barisa, and then he has to go talk to Sylvanas. Spoiler alert: Sylvanas is back, and so that's the campaign. There was a video that I saw was out, but I haven't watched it yet. I guess it's a spoiler for the end of the campaign, but I'm not going to spoil that. So if you want to watch that, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, just do the campaign, and we'll talk about it in a week or two. We'll have a lore episode where we kind of talk about what the lore of Midnight is going to be and all that. So, all right. So that's out of the way. Now for the big stuff. Housing early access. So Blizzard has decided that rather than release the signature feature of an expansion with that expansion, they decided to launch it one patch early in the final patch of the previous expansion. Housing is the biggest feature of Midnight. There are a lot of changes coming with Midnight, a lot of things that are going to be like the add-on Apocalypse and all this stuff, the praise system and Apex talents. There's a lot of things that are going into Midnight, but the housing system is the biggest feature of Midnight by far. And it's coming early. If you pre-purchase the expansion, any version, even the base version, the $50 one, you will get housing early access. So if you haven't done it yet and you're like, I don't know if I should, I might wait. If you have the money, do it now because you'll get housing and you can go start setting up your house. There's a lot in housing. There's so much, in fact, that I don't want to go over it here because I want to give housing a few weeks and then we can talk about what, the state of housing and what we've learned and where things are and all that. So suffice it to say, you can join a neighborhood, you can purchase a house, you can do all these things. You cannot start a charter neighborhood. So you can do a guild neighborhood or you can join a private neighborhood, but you can't do the charter neighborhood yet. I guess that's coming with Midnight. But you can start getting your decorations and getting all of the things in your house. You could literally build your house. I don't know how far you can level it up, but you can level it up quite a bit just right off the get. I think it's like level 6 or something. But I mean, the more you go, every time you level up your house, you're going to get access to more rooms, more decoration objects that you can put in your house, and new types of rooms that you can add in. So it's in your best interest to stay on top of that and to make sure that you are leveling up your house, which sounds weird, but it's what we're doing. So yeah, check out housing. That's the big feature. I don't want to dwell on it here because that's a feature that deserves its own topic. And I want to wait until we know everything that's in place and how everything works, and we can talk about some of the features, like how do professions work with housing. What old raids do you need to go run in order to get objects for housing? How do you get the Onyxia head on your wall, right? All that stuff. We'll go through everything. We'll figure out all of the different components, and we'll talk about housing. Like I said, I haven't tried it. I literally have not built my house. I played with it on the beta, so I know how it works. I haven't done it yet. So I don't know, maybe I'll go do that tonight after I finish the podcast. But yeah, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm just kind of like, it's a lot of work. Maybe it'll be better on live servers when I have access to all my stuff, and it's going to be a lot more fun. So we'll see. The one thing that Blizzard did tell us is that we're going to get the coming soon, the outside appearances of Silvermoon and Belemeth, so you can have your Blood Elf or Night Elf house, which is really cool because I don't like having my house look like a Stormwind house, but then when I zone in, it looks like a Night Elf house. It's kind of weird. So, yeah, hopefully that'll be in there really soon. Maybe with Midnight pre-patch, we'll get that. I don't know. Blizzard is being vague on some of this stuff, and it's annoying, but I get it. And there's like a million interviews I've got to go watch because all these people got exclusive interviews with Blizzard devs about housing, and so I have to go watch all those videos now to figure out where things are. So yeah, it'll be fun. So yeah, we'll do a housing episode in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about that. So all right. Here's some of the other features that are coming with patch 11.2.7. Like I said, housing, obviously the biggest feature, but it's a midnight feature. It's not the end of the expansion feature. The rest of these things are things that I could make sense that they would come at the end of an expansion. I get it. It makes a lot more sense. The housing, I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird choice, but I'm not going to complain. Okay. The new and returning player experiences. So there's 2 new experiences that they're putting in. So if you're familiar with the Exile's Reach, that's where you're on the boat and then you have to go onto the island, and there's a bunch of quests you have to do, and it ends with you doing like a pseudo dungeon where you have to kill an ogre at the end. It's not bad. It's not something that I would want to do as an experienced player, somebody who's currently playing the game. Doing Exile's Reach kind of feels weird and feels a little clunky. So, and even if I hadn't been playing for 10 years and I came back to WoW because I'm like, hey man, WoW looks really cool right now. I have time and I want to play. I've got time to play WoW because I just got a divorce, and so I'm single, and obviously I'm not dating anyone, so I'm just going to sit around and play video games in my underwear, drinking, Coors Light and eating leftover pizza. Sure, go for it. So there's two ways that this is going to work. So there's the new player experience and there's the returning player experience. The new player experience, just Exile's Reach. They've cleaned that all up, and then it's going to flow right into Dragonflight. And they've put in some quests in there to make it a seamless experience. And then once you get into Dragonflight, you're actually going to be doing the raids while you're leveling up. You're going to be doing story mode, but still it gives you the opportunity to complete those story beats of Razageth and then Sarkareth and then Farak, how they affected the story. You're actually going to go fight those bosses. And so it seems really cool. I'm like, yeah, I might want to try it just one time to see how it is. Maybe not. But still, I mean, it does seem pretty cool. So that's the new player experience. And then the returning player experience, you're actually going to, hey, I already know how to play WoW. Okay. I just don't know all the new spells and how everything works and how the game works right now. It's okay. They got you covered too. So you're going to go and you're going to do the Arathi Highlands quest sequence that was put in, what was it, patch 11.1.5 or 11.1.7? I forget which one it was. The one that everyone complained about because, they ruined all these characters and whatever. So people like to complain. So you're going to go do that, and Jaina and Thrall are going to be the ones that are going to help guide you through that, and they're going to reintegrate you into the game, and here's how everything works. And then the same thing, depending on where you are level-wise, they're going to dump you back into Dragonflight, or they'll take you to the War Within. So that's kind of how everything works. And I haven't tried them out yet, but it sounds great. I'm really excited about it. I would love to have somebody, genuinely a new player, do the new player experience and tell me how it is, because I think Blizzard is really bad at it. This is something that I've actually had this conversation with my wife before, because, obviously her parents are boomers. They're not playing World of Warcraft. And so, but they'll ask us sometimes, like her mom will be like, well, what exactly do you guys do when you're playing video games? And so my wife will try to explain it to her, and my mother-in-law gets this kind of vacant look on her eyes, like she has no idea what's going on. And I told my wife, I'm like, you can't use any gamer terms. She doesn't know what any of those things are. You can't use any gamer terms. There's no frame of reference. You've got to think, this is somebody who knows how to play solitaire on the computer, right? How do you give that person the ability to play World of Warcraft? Because ultimately what Blizzard wants is for anybody to be able to do it. So is it something that anybody can do? Because at the beginning of Exile's Reach, where it's like, oh, here's your spell. It's a fireball. Press 1 to make the fireball go. And it's really dumbed down. But honestly, if you're new and you've never played an MMO before, it's kind of helpful. So I don't know. I'll have to check it out. All right. The new Lorewalking, the Elves of Quel'Thalas. Meet with Lorewalker Cho to learn about the origins of the Blood Elves and the Void Elves. You'll begin your journey with a retelling of the Scourge attack on Silvermoon City and the Lich King's assault on the Sunwell. Later, you'll find out more about the tainting of the Sunwell by Ilaria Windrunner and the creation of the Void Elves. So, I did do the Lorewalking. I did the Ethereal one before. I didn't finish all the other ones because, honestly, I felt like it was a little too slow. I wanted more story, less questing. But it's okay. It works. It works, and it's a different way to level up and get experience and to do stuff, and it's fine. For me, I already know the stories, right? I already know the lore. But for people who don't, this is great, because then they're familiar with it going into the expansion. They're not like, who the hell are these guys? Like, I don't get it. Like, imagine a Alliance player who maybe they've seen Void Elves running around or doing stuff with them in Time Walking or whatever, and now you've got these other elves that are bad guy elves, and you're like, well, what? But then we're working together because we're helping defend their city, and so this is so confusing. Yeah, it is confusing. The lore in WoW is confusing. I talked about last week how I'm really thankful for the lore in World of Warcraft, but it is a mess. It's a mess. There's a lot of it, but it's a mess. So this will certainly help, I think, to some degree, help with getting people that idea. Oh, here's what's going on. Here's what we're doing, and all that. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the Lorewalking having more things be thrown in there. But for me personally, I wanted it to be a little bit more storytelling and a little bit less questing. So, but that's just me. And you know what? I feel like lore walking is a really good way to integrate people in the game, like a returning player experience. Here, do the lore walking, because I know how to quest in WoW. If you've played WoW before, questing has not really changed. Like there are some components, like if you haven't played since vanilla, okay, questing's changed a little bit since then, but for the most part, it's the same thing. If you played in Warlords of Draenor versus playing now, it's the same. Questing is the same. So anyway, all right, let's move on. Pandaren Heritage Armor. Return to the Wandering Isle alongside a familiar cast of Pandaren to set right all that's gone awry with preparations for the Spirit Festival, rally villagers and spirits alike to restore harmony to the celebration, and earn the new Pandaren Heritage Armor for your collection. This one looks weird. The whole handkerchief mask thing is odd, but I guess it's more of a Chinese thing. Whatever, that's fine. I mean, the set is cool. I like the set. I don't have a Pandaren, so I made a Pandaren in 2012 or whatever, whenever Mr. Pandaria came out, and I never played them, and then I ended up deleting them because I was like, well, this character's stupid. So yeah, I mean, again, this isn't for me, it's for someone else, and that's okay. It's they're allowed to make things that are not for me. But this one is really not for me, because not only do I not have a Pandaren, I could not see myself creating one. Even if I really wanted to do this quest line, it's like, I'd rather watch a YouTube video than make a Pandaren. It's just the truth. I think that the only race that I don't like, or I was going to say hate, but don't like sounds not harsh enough. Somewhere in between, I don't like them and I hate them. That feeling is how I feel towards the Mechanomes. They're just awful. Like, that was the worst implementation of a allied race that I've ever seen. But Pandaren are a close second. Maybe Earthen in there too. There's just some races in WoW that I'm like, yeah, no. But the Pandaren, yeah, that one, you talk about I could take them or leave them. I could just leave them. I don't need a Pandaren. So, but yeah, if you have a Pandaren character that you enjoy playing and you're like, ooh, this will be fun, yeah, go check it out and do your Heritage Armor. This is the final Heritage Armor set in the game. Obviously, we will need to start working on like Earthen and Haranir, but from the original Legion and BFA allied races, and then all the original races. So there you go. Pandaren Heritage Armor coming to you now, honestly. Okay, next up, Turbulent Timeways. So the Turbulent Timeways are coming back. I don't need to read this thing to you, but so I already mentioned the Shadowlands Time Walking. So we're getting Shadowlands Time Walking. We know that they're going to do 10 weeks of Turbulent Timeways. 10 weeks, yeah. It's going till February 9th. And the way it's going to work is, so we'll do Shadowlands, and then we'll cycle through everything else, which is 8. And then we'll do Shadowlands at the end again. So yeah, I mean, that's cool, I guess. I think it would be better if they did a time walking raid for Shadowlands. Give us Castle Nathria. Come on. Why are you afraid, Blizzard? Don't be scared, bro. Yeah, there's really not much to say about it. The Turbulent Timeways will run, though, every week. You can pick up the quest from Archivist for Thrina Dornagal to get you a piece of hero track gear. So if you have a character who you are trying to gear up and get some pieces before you're going into midnight, this is a really good way to do it. You can't earn your dinar, your puzzling cartel chips. You're not going to get that from doing time walking, but that's okay. You don't need the best in slot trinket to do leveling up in midnight. That's not necessary. But it would be nice to have a couple of hero track pieces. It wouldn't be too bad. So, yeah, there you go. Check that out. The dungeons aren't hard. I mean, I haven't done the Shadowlands ones, but none of the rest of them are hard. So, yeah, it should be pretty fun. And then, like I said, there's going to be a voucher that you can use to purchase a mount. And again, I don't know how exactly it's going to work, and how do you get all 4 of them if you want them. So, yeah, it's I guess we'll figure it out. So, yeah, check that out as well. All right. the last big thing that's coming in for this patch is the Brawlers Guild. That will return on December 9th. Step back into the fighting ring to engage in one-on-one combat with a variety of new and familiar bosses. Players will once more be able to sign up and take on those foes and climb the ranks, or stand ringside and watch the spectacle. So if you're in Orgrimmar, it's in the Brawlgar Arena, and if you're in Stormrund, it's in the Deep Run Tram. And they said we're also making some improvements, changing the boss rotation and adding some new bosses along the way. Players will be able to earn challenge achievements and collect some new rewards, including housing decor, a recolored flying mount, and even Bruce in a new color variation. So if you're excited about the Brawlers Guild, go check that out. I never did it. I think I went over there one time and watched, and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. I don't like those types of things, because it's one thing to say, hey, go run this content and it's hard, like the Mage Tower. Yeah, it's hard and you have to like keep trying over and over again, but eventually you'll get it. No, this is go do this thing and everyone's watching you. No, thank you. I will pass on that. But you know what? There's some people that thrive on that. So good for them, and hope everyone enjoys the Brawlers Guild. That will return next week. So next Tuesday, I'll just remind you that the Brawlers Guild is back, and there you go. That's what's coming in patch 11.2.7. That's what's here. A couple of other things. So they did say that you will be able to queue. Horrific Visions. You'll be able to queue for Orgrimmar Stormwind anytime you want, rather than having it be on a weekly rotation. So that's really cool. If you're still doing the Horrific Visions, there are some things you can get from it. So I think people want the mount and stuff like that. So this is a really good way for you to be able to do that. And I'm not sure if it's going to go away at the end of the War Within, or if it's just going to stay in Dornogal. Because if it stays in Dornogal, honestly, that's kind of cool. But I could see it just going away. And then there's some item changes that are coming in. Basically, they've made some currencies that are better for sharing via Warband. So that's the Apexus crystals from Warlords of Draenor, and the Order resources and Veiled Argonite from Legion. So you can trade them between characters in your Warband without losing any in the transfer. So there you go. That's what's coming in patch 11.2.7. We have some Legion Remix changes that are here, and these are obviously short-term changes because Legion Remix is going to be going away in about a month and a half. Broken Isles world bosses have begun spawning from other timelines. Doomguard Challenger now drops fragmented mementos of epic challenges in Heroic World tier. Fix an issue preventing the achievement Naxed Victim from being earnable in Legion Remix. Slightly increase the hit detection radius of Naron's Everdisk. Increased the visual effect and hit detection radius of Churning Waters. Updated the visual and infinite portals to distinguish them from Unraveling Sands. And the Lost Lightforge generator is now visible on the map. Collect your Time Warped orbs to become a speedy bronze chasing Worm Tongue. So these are all the things that are coming in for Legion Remix. Like I said, I'm kind of burning out on that. I'm still logging into it and at least getting my piece of jewelry every day, but I'm really not feeling it. So all right, that's all of the content and changes that they've made. The last thing that we're going to talk about is some UI changes. Now, this one is really controversial. A lot of people don't like it. I personally think it's great. They've changed skywriting. So if you're familiar with the way skywriting works, you get vigor, and the more you do certain things, the more vigor you generate. So if you're climbing upwards, you're losing more vigor, but if you're flying downwards at a fast speed, you're going to gain vigor at a faster rate. Well, they've gotten rid of vigor completely. They said, you know what, this is too complicated for too many people. We're just going to get rid of it. So instead, you're going to have your abilities are going to have 6 charges. So your Skyward Ascent, your Forward Surge, 6 charges, then they will be shared. And your takeoff is free to use. So it'll be like the Evoker, the Drakthir. When they take off, they get that one for free, and then they start spending their vigor. Well, now nobody's going to have vigor, so they're basically making the system the same. So takeoff is free. So one time you jump in the air, you don't have to use any of your charges. Then once you're in the air, you have 6 charges that you can use, and they will regenerate at a pretty decent rate. Unless you are flying and landing really fast. This is just going to be better overall because your takeoff is free to use. So as long as you're not dumb in how you're using your charges. I mean, I guess there's a way that it was like, oh man, they didn't think of this. I'm sure it's in there, but I don't know. I tried to make it so that I wasn't, that I was trying to do stuff and I didn't have enough charges, and I just couldn't make it work. The charges were generating too fast. So, and then Whirling Surge is on a 30-second cooldown. So, so there you go. That's what's going on there. Whirling Surge being on a 30-second cooldown is fantastic, because one of the problems with Whirling Surge before is it used up 3 vigor. Well, now it's just 30 seconds. So you use that shit on cooldown. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's good. I had an add-on that I was using for dragon riding or for sky riding that I just got rid of, because I was like, well, I don't need this anymore, because it's easier now. It's more accessible. So I think that's a good thing. So the other interface changes that they've put in, the single button assistant will now work with the press and hold option. So if you just push down the key that single button assistant is on, it'll just cycle through the choices as they come up and available. It's slow. And I'll tell you right now, I was using single button assistant on my Legion Remix characters at first, because I was like, well, I don't really know how to play an Arms Warrior, and Blood DK, it's fine, but I'm just feeling lazy. I don't know. It's so much easier to just use your actual attack moves. And once you know how to do it, your DPS will go up. So yeah, if you're relying on the single button assistant, unless you have some sort of accessibility issue or some reason that I'm not thinking of, but if you're just doing it because you're lazy, just learn your rotation. It's easier, and you're gonna do more damage. Trust me, it's gonna be better for you in the long run. So so press and hold will now work. So that's really good for people with accessibility problems, where it's hard for them to keep hitting that button 1,000 times during a fight. So you just sit and hold it, and it'll just go. I think that's fine. Training dummies. Guards at capital cities now offer their location as a point of interest. I mean, why wasn't that in there before? The other one that was really controversial, and this one was kind of funny. So strafe versus turn. So if you are familiar with, and I talked about this before, but if you're familiar with any sort of shooter or any type of game where you're controlling your character from behind, third person, first person, most of those games have your W key goes forward, your S key goes backwards, your A key strafes to the left, and your D key strafes to the right. Well, WoW put it in. They said your A key will turn to the left, and your D key will turn to the right, and then your Q key will strafe to the left, and your E key will strafe to the right. Well, people have been changing these keybinds for a long time, because it's like, well, here's how every other game in the world works except for WoW. So they're just changing it by default, and I think it's better. It's just going to take some getting used to, and I've noticed that. So I'll do things like I have some soda here. If I'm doing something, I'll take a drink of some soda, and I'll just turn my character with my keys, because it's like, well, my mouse hand has a drink in it. Well, you can't do that anymore, at least not with the default keybinds. Now, it'll switch your Q and E to turn left and turn right, so you can do that too. But I think it's better to learn how to play with just strafe, because it's more effective. Turning on your keyboard, there's a reason that keyboard turner is an insult. It's slow. It's bad. If you're trying to move quickly, keyboard turning is the worst way you can do it. So if you can learn it, that's the best way to go. All right, check it out, and you can change it back if you don't like it. You can always switch it back. So it's in your keybinds. You can switch them however you want them. You could have strafe left be G and strafe right be P if that's really how you want to do it. I'm not your dad. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Okay, so then the catch-up experience, they call it out here. If a player hasn't logged on for 60 days, on the character select screen, characters may have the option to log into the catch-up experience. A new tutorials tab has been added to the adventure guide for players to automatically start catch-up experience at any time. So if you logged in as a returning player and you're like, holy shit, I don't know what's going on, and you didn't choose the catch-up experience on the login screen, you can still go into your adventure guide and pull it up. So it's giving you the option to still do it. So that's good. And again, like I said, I haven't done the returning player experience, but maybe I'll try it out and we'll see how it goes. And that's pretty much it. Some graphics changes for the cursor. Item comparison is now on by default, etc., etc. So that's everything coming in patch 11.2.7. This is a pretty big patch. There's a lot of content here. Like I said, the housing is probably the biggest thing in here, and even without housing, this is a big patch. But with housing, this is massive. And I'm going to check out housing at some point. I don't know when. I'll check it out. Maybe this weekend I'll get on it and play around with it. But yeah, I'm really impressed by this. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Midnight, because the Midnight launch is going to happen and people are going to go, there's nothing to do. I already did my house. I'm bored. This sucks. Worst expansion ever. I mean, I get it. You give your kids if you give your kids their Christmas presents early, on Christmas morning, they're going to complain that they have nothing to open. So, go figure. All right. But that is going to wrap up our show for today. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I really do appreciate it. It is always a pleasure and a privilege for me to get on this microphone and speak to you. If you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or have a particular topic that you would like to hear discussed, please email us at azerothunitedpod@gmail.com. Whatever interests are, if you want to just start a conversation, that's one way to do it. Another way that you could do it and leave feedback and put comments or whatever is by joining our Discord server. You can get to our Discord server by going to azerothunitedpod.com, and we'll have the link to the Discord server. All of our social media and all that stuff will be available there. If you want to get a hold of me directly, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at Denethar on Twitter, and then you can also reach me on Blue Sky. I'm at Denethar there as well. If you're enjoying the show and you'd like to help us out, you could consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The ratings really help out the distribution, and the reviews also really help out. And then if you leave a review, I will read it on the air. So I think that would be really cool. Apple Podcast review or Spotify comment, either one will work. But the ratings is really the big thing. If you leave that 5-star rating, that really helps out. So, and if you don't want to, that's okay. You don't have to, but I'm suggesting that you just leave a 5-star rating now and then think about it later. Maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe you won't. You probably won't. You probably just leave it at 5. We're good there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can help us out by giving us a like and a subscribe, and also leaving a comment. So those things all help out the distribution. And the final way you can help out with the show is by joining our Patreon. Patreon is where people can give their IRL money to help out with the production costs for the show. I'm not trying to get a whole bunch of money from people. That's not how I do things. But it is nice to have a little bit of extra help with like the podcast subscription service, and then some of the equipment that I'm using, and there's a couple of things that I have to pay, like the website and stuff that I'm paying for. I'm not even trying to break even on it. It's just nice to have, if people want to help, and I do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It makes me feel good to know that people care enough about the product that I'm putting out that they're like, hey, I want to give you a couple bucks. It's like, really, dude? Thank you. That's awesome. So there are 3 tiers of patrons that you could join. There's a free tier if you want to just get on there and show your support that way. We have 2 paid tiers. There's the $1 standard Patreon, and then there's the $3 friend of the show patron. And so again, these are people who are giving their IRL money, and I really do appreciate it. I do want to thank our friend of the show patrons right now. That is Judge Omni, Stug Life, Thelial, Greybeard, Raven, and Macus. Thank you all so much for your support. You definitely help make Azeroth United possible. You guys are the best. And that's it. Thank you again for listening. Remember to be very, very good to each other out there. It's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. And you know what? Maybe they built their house one way and you wanted a 2-story and they wanted a 1-story with a giant room in the middle and just a bunch of closets. You know what? Don't judge. Just let people build their own houses, and just let's all enjoy and appreciate that Blizzard has given us housing that we can use. And even if you're someone like me who doesn't really care about it, it's okay. We can still have fun with it, and we can still talk, and we can all get along and have a good time. So, all right, be good. Take care. I love you all. and I'll see you in Azeroth.